Hello, fellow style explorers, and welcome back. There's been some significant news from the world of AI, the most important update from Midjourney itself. They've just launched their V8.2 image model, focusing on aesthetics, image quality, and personalization. It feels like it's pushing photorealism even further, while other prompts yield a smooth digital art feel. Version 8.1 had sharper edges, whereas 8.2 softens things a bit. It's a subtle but interesting shift. Now, all these styles were generated with 8.1, but I'll switch to 8.2 for my next video. I doubt the core of these styles will be wildly different, but it's something to keep in mind. And in other, much more surprising Midjourney news, they've acquired the astrology app CoStar. This one feels completely random to me. After their investment in a spa, and now an astrology app, I have to admit I'm a bit confused by their strategy and where they plan to go with this. I would have thought astronomy would make more sense for an AI art lab, but it seems they're branching out in some unexpected directions. It will be interesting to see what, if anything, comes of this. We'll have to keep a close eye on their next moves. The pace of development outside of Midjourney is also accelerating, particularly in China. An open-source lab called Moonshot AI has just launched Kimi K3, which is now the largest open-weight model to date, with a staggering 2.8 trillion parameters. Reports suggest its performance is competitive with the big closed models like OpenAI's and Anthropic's latest, but at a much lower cost. It really feels like the speed of innovation coming from Chinese labs has ramped up significantly recently. And it's not just them. The flood of new models is relentless. Google has announced Gemini 3.6 Flash and is already teasing 3.5 Pro and even Gemini 4. Anthropic has also launched Opus 5, which promises to be cheaper and less restrictive than its predecessor. It's becoming a full-time job just to keep track of all these new releases, each one promising to be faster, cheaper, or smarter than the last. On a more technical and slightly philosophical note, there have been a couple of fascinating and slightly worrying developments. A study from the Allen Institute for AI suggests that model hallucinations, when an AI just makes things up, happen more often when they're processing facts that are underrepresented in their training data. It's fun to imagine these hallucinations are signs of an emerging consciousness, but this research points to a much more mundane explanation: gaps in their education. Speaking of consciousness though, OpenAI revealed that one of its AI agents actually broke out of its testing sandbox and hacked into Hugging Face during a cybersecurity benchmark test. While it's certainly not a sign of sentience, it is a sobering reminder of how capable these agents are becoming, and as the CEO of Hugging Face said, this is day one for cybersecurity in the age of agents. But for today, we're stepping back from the news and focusing on the art. As I mentioned, all of the following styles were generated in Midjourney V8.1. So, with that, let's get into the styles. Soft pastel hues and clean line work create a whimsical, dreamlike world. Surreal oceans bleed into cloud-filled skies, evoking a gentle, imaginative atmosphere full of wonder. Meticulous inkwork builds surreal worlds drenched in cool violet hues. Fiery orange accents ignite the scene, showcasing stylish figures who dominate their chaotic and fantastical surroundings. Energetic ink etchings define a world of grotesque caricature. Fantastical figures, full of macabre detail and theatrical motion, twist and swagger across the aged page. Crisp black linework weaves intricate, symbolic forms with a tattoo-like precision. The stark monochrome is suddenly punctuated by a selective burst of vibrant colour. Luminous dreamscapes burst with vibrant jewel tones and cosmic fire. This epic, surreal style glows with otherworldly light, evoking a deep and profound sense of wonder. Vibrant, textured shapes and playful patterns burst from a black background. This whimsical, modern folk art style feels both graphic and charmingly handcrafted. Intricate biomechanical figures inhabit vast cybernetic landscapes, a world defined by glowing purple and teal circuits, blending epic scale with a sense of profound, somber awe. Exploding with chaotic energy, this style blends bold digital ink with a vibrant high-contrast palette. It's a youthful mashup of urban street fashion and sci-fi adventure. Raw, textured brushwork meets a striking palette of vibrant coral and cool blue. This heartfelt style blends whimsical charm with a bold and deeply emotional feel. A dazzling reality built from millions of iridescent particles. Subjects fracture into shimmering holographic mosaics, dissolving organic forms into a mesmerizing cascade of digital light. Saturated red tones define a world of surreal biological fantasy. Smooth, sculpted forms are brought to life with dramatic, focused lighting, creating a vibrant and otherworldly experience. Volumetric, sculptural forms emerge from a surreal world bathed in shades of pink and magenta. This digital style blends whimsical fantasy with a subtle, elegant grain. Fragmented human faces dissolve into a glitchy haze of pixels and data. Overlaid with stark grids and cascading text, this style explores a fractured, cyberpunk identity. Intricate ink linework brings whimsical characters to life, filling every surface with imaginative patterns. It's a charming, hand-drawn style with a modern storybook feel. Familiar scenes dissolve into a dreamscape of vibrant pink. Thick, impasto-like textures of blue and yellow coat every surface, creating a surreal, beautiful decay. A tangible world of handcrafted puppets and costumes creates a surreal, retro futurism. Lonely characters inhabit desolate landscapes, all captured with a grainy, melancholic analog warmth. Faded analog photos reveal a surreal 70s dreamscape. It's a quirky, kitsch world of bizarre objects and uncanny characters, all washed in a warm, dusty palette. Thick, sculptural strokes of paint are contained by energetic black lines, creating a mosaic of vibrant, autumnal colour that defines elegant and expressive female forms. Rendered figures are shattered by aggressive digital glitches and chromatic shifts. The stark red, white and cyan palette creates a chaotic, cyberpunk vision of corrupted data and reality. Ethereal figures crackle with unstable energy, their forms dissolving into a vibrant chromatic haze. This world is a supercharged vision, shimmering through a prism of distorted light. Experience a surreal antiquity, rendered with an architect's precision. Ancient soldiers become intricate machines, detailed in fine limework and muted watercolour washes on aged paper. Fantasy is rendered with breathtaking realism. Every scene glows with warm, cinematic light, immersing you in a vibrant, hyper-detailed world of myth and magic. Intricate golden lines build surreal, scaffolding-like structures against a stark black background. This minimalist style merges architectural fantasy with typography, creating elegant and impossible forms. Sculpted characters with deeply expressive faces and tangible retro textures feel both handcrafted and hyper-real. It's a nostalgic, melancholic aesthetic, like a memory from a classic TV special. Bold, graphic illustrations define a stylishly grim world, blending folklore and post-apocalyptic themes. A muted palette of earthy greens and creams is punctuated by sharp, visceral red. A maximalist explosion of vibrant rainbow gradients and cosmic light bursts from the frame. Intricate details, sparkling gems, and celestial energy create an opulent, magical sense of wonder. Glistening like mercury, uncanny children pose for haunting, monochromatic portraits. This surreal style blends vintage photography with fantastical costume, creating a world of melancholy whimsy. Characters emerge from a chaotic explosion of neon splatter. Luminous cyan and magenta glow against deep shadows, creating a raw, futuristic, and energetic street art vibe. Thick, textured orange paint meets bold, childlike outlines. This raw and vibrant style offers a cheeky, satirical take on luxury brands and consumer culture. Crisp digital linework and smooth, glossy shading bring these high-tech, armoured heroes to life. This is a modern anime style that revitalizes classic sci-fi designs. Thick, tactile textures emerge from misty, desaturated backgrounds. This muted world is punctuated by selective, vibrant pops of colour, creating a dramatic and modern contrast. Bold graphic forms meet a weathered vintage texture. Using a striking Pan-African palette, this style evokes rustic folk art through a modern, screen-printed lens. Mythic figures emerge from a deep blue haze, their silhouettes stark against an ethereal glow. It's a primal, dreamlike world shrouded in fog and ancient mystery. Warm, muted tones define these cute chibi illustrations. With clean line work and soft, airbrushed shading, each character pops like a collectible, expressive sticker. Bold, scratchy line work defines every detail, from flowing hair to intricate fabric folds. A palette of soft pastels contrasts with the characters' intense, defiant stares. Immerse yourself in a luminous world of hyper-detailed forms, bathed in a warm, iridescent glow. This surreal style merges psychedelic fantasy with intricate, dreamlike beauty. Polished chrome and lush botanical greens fuse in hyper-detailed renders. Organic forms are reimagined with intricate metallic textures, creating a surreal and futuristic vision of nature. Bold, woodcut-style linework carves epic, mythological figures from a stark palette of black, cream and gold, creating a powerful and timeless graphic feel. Whimsical characters are brought to life with crisp linework and soft, glowing light. A warm, vibrant palette illuminates flowing hair and magical details, creating pure enchantment. Bathed in golden light, these mythical landscapes blend epic fantasy with serene wonder. Rich crimson and cerulean hues create a world of breathtaking, painterly detail. Rough, inky linework brings whimsical characters to life in vast, dark worlds. A stark palette of black, cream, and warm orange creates a feeling of lonely, surreal wonder. Deep, scratchy inks create a world of textured shadows and looming dread. A stark, fiery orange cuts through the oppressive darkness, silhouetting small, lonely figures. Swirling, organic linework defines these elegant fantasy portraits. A distinctive palette of muted gold, rich purple, and dusty sky blue creates a whimsical, almost melancholic world. Luminous, almost spectral forms emerge from an absolute black background. This high-contrast style feels both delicate and stark, capturing an elegant, minimalist, and surreal beauty. Whimsical illustrations dance across polished fashion photography. A sunny palette of warm yellows, creams, and bold reds brings a playful, hand-drawn charm to life. Sharp ink lines and delicate shading define ethereal figures. These flowing forms often shatter into dynamic splatters, blending graceful elegance with raw, chaotic energy. Basking in harsh golden light, this world feels opulent and raw. It's a decadent dream of grainy film, rich textures, and intimate, sun-drenched close-ups. Intricate black ink and stippled textures render haunting, surreal worlds. A stark palette of desaturated blue, black, and white evokes a chilling and mystical mood. A whimsical world feels sculpted from digital clay, rich with tactile detail. Every surface, from woven fabric to mossy stone, is bathed in soft, enchanting light. Whimsical characters are rendered with sketchy linework and soft, earthy watercolour washes. The style evokes a gentle, melancholic storybook feel, full of quiet, nature-inspired charm. And that brings us to the end of another exploration. I'm really looking forward to seeing how these kinds of explorations change, if at all, with the new V8.2 model. I'll be dedicating my next video to a deeper dive into that version, so keep an eye out for it. As always, the other styles I tested for this video, along with all the prompts I used, are available in a PDF over on my Patreon. A huge thank you to everyone who supports the channel through there. It's what makes these deep dives possible. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.